Kansas City Chiefs get to host their division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders, after barely beating the Carolina Panthers. They're looking for a blowout victory, as Patrick Mahomes says. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 13 matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs. But before we get into that, if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. Trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and any help is greatly appreciated. Ryan, this is going to be a fun game. Black Friday on Netflix. Hopefully, Netflix does a little bit better than Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, just when it comes to viewing. Even though I guess we all could just watch the play-by-play on ESPN. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes said after their win today against the Carolina Panthers, which we'll break down a little bit because I might have some unique thoughts on that game. But he's like, they're looking for blowout victories. As a Falcons fan, you Raiders fans know who their starting quarterback is going to be for this Friday's game, Desmond Ridder. Patrick Mahomes, I think you're going to get an early Christmas present because it's going to be very interesting on how Desmond Ridder does. I've seen enough Desmond Ridder football and was more sad watching Desmond Ridder football. This will be maybe more entertainment, Desmond Ridder football. Who knows, though? He can sling the ball. You got Brock Bowers. You got Jacoby Myers. We'll have to maybe see except you're going up against this Chiefs defense. And so the Raiders are going to win this game. It's not going to be through Desmond Ridder. It's going to be through him, like, not making mistakes, really. But I want to throw it over to you, though, here. I want to see if you were thinking the same thing. How did the Raiders win this game?
The same way that they beat them last year in Arrowhead. I think a pick six. They had some good special teams plays that set up this offense. And I think they won it like 16-13. And that, to me, is just like how they'd have to do it. It is a division matchup. You never really know how these are going to play out, but like the dominoes are all falling in the Chiefs' favor right now. So, or the cards are all falling in the Chiefs' favor, not the dominoes. But I think you go look the Raiders right now. Alexander Mattison, I think, has been ruled out for this matchup, or he was ruled out for the previous one. Gardner Minshew is definitely ruled out.
Yeah, just broken collarbone.
With a broken collarbone. So, it's just not looking good for the Raiders in terms of their health coming into this matchup. And this is one of the best teams in the league. You need to be healthy. You need to be playing at your best. Now, with that being said, this Chiefs team, and maybe this speaks more to the progression of the Carolina Panthers. We were talking a little bit about that as this game was going on, but the Panthers almost forced an overtime game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's not really like they did it because Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense were making a bunch of mistakes. They actually just put up 27 points on this Chiefs team and played well. And like Bryce Young got benched earlier in the year. They don't really have they have good weapons, but this offensive line has struggled. They have their weapons are young. They got rid of Deontay Johnson. So that Panthers team isn't a world beater by any means. They have one of the worst defenses in the league by almost all metrics. And it was still a 27-27 game with a minute left to go. Patrick Mahomes went down and his team kicked a field goal as time expired, like usual. But it was a close game that didn't need to be that close. And maybe the Raiders can repeat that, go in and look at what the Panthers did and come in and do a similar game plan.
Well, and I think to comment on your point earlier on, this is a division matchup. I mean, Kansas City went into Las Vegas earlier this year and barely and only won by a touchdown. It's a division matchup. Even to this Raiders team, now Gardner Minshew played a majority of the game, but they were giving Denver really all they could handle before they lost 29-19. And honestly, too, they had a lot of field goals. If they could convert some of those field goals into touchdowns, maybe we're talking a little bit differently now about the Raiders. Instead of a loss, it's a victory. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. I'm very curious how Desmond Ridder is going to come in and play. But when it comes to Kansas City as a whole, obviously maybe not the defensive game that you would want, but also just kind of looking at it, I think you maybe got to tip your hat a little bit to the Panthers and just their progression. The Chiefs did a great job in the first half, held them to 9 points. I think rushing yard wise, I think I remember because I had both Jonathan Brooks and Chuba Hubbard on my dynasty team, and luckily they were sitting on my bench. But I think I saw there was maybe 7 or 8 yards between them in the first half, if that even. Chiefs dominated the first half as well. But I think the Panthers made some adjustments. Bryce Young has one of his best games as a pro against a good Chiefs defense. I think sometimes you just got to tip your hat as well. I think the Chiefs are going to bounce back. Desmond Ridder is significantly lesser than Bryce Young and their capabilities. Their weapons are weaker as well when it comes to their rushing. I think the Raiders are one of the worst. They are one of the worst. Yeah, they are the worst rushing offense in the league. 74.64 yards per game. They don't even average 3/4 of a football field rushing the ball in a single game, which is kind of wild. So the running back room is going to be hurt as well. The way I see the Raiders win this game is exactly how you said it. Is they're going to have Mahomes cause turnover. It's going to have to be a defensive, low-scoring game like how they did last year, and I just don't see that. The Chiefs don't really beat themselves that much. I think they're not as explosive as they would like to be. As like if we're comparing it to the Tyreek Hill days, but I feel like they're very methodical, moving the ball down the field, and we saw that today as well. Raiders defense is going to be a little bit better than the Panthers as a whole. Max Crosby and companies, I think, is going to want to pull off a victory here as a division rivalry, as you said. But when it comes to then my prediction, just in general, I don't see it's hard for me to pick against Mahomes and the Chiefs here in this game. Could I see them losing the game 100%? But I mean, one time out of 20, there's like a 5% chance the Raiders can win this game because it's got to be something similar to last year where they get multiple pick six or multiple interceptions. Keep that offense off the field, and you combine now with Desmond Ridder being the quarterback, and it's just going to be tough. I will say it is going to be neat seeing Brock Bowers, probably the next Travis Kelce type tight end, go up against Travis Kelce, who's getting obviously towards the end of his career. And it's going to be neat to see Brock Bowers go up against this Steve Spagnuolo defense. And I hope Ritter's able to make it entertaining, just for it to be a good, fun game. But I think this is going to be the blowout. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to get his wish and get that blowout.
Yeah, this defense might be too good to keep it from being like a complete blowout. And the problem is I think the Chiefs are going to come in fairly conservative for the Raiders because I think they know Desmond Ridder might be able to make one or two good reads on a drive. The problem is, can he on that same drive, can he make the 4th, 5th, and 6th good read in a row to put them in scoring position? If that makes sense.
When he makes the right read, can he get the ball to the guy?
Yeah. And so, like, that to me, I think is going to be the Chiefs' defensive approach: is just make them dink and dunk their way down the field, like keep everything in front of you, and Desmond Ridder's going to throw you 2 or 3 interceptions. Like that's just how it's going to go. And then on the offensive side of the ball, this is a good running team. They have a really good interior of the offensive line, and so I think they're going to definitely be trying to push the ball like up the middle. I think Isaiah Pacheco comes back in this matchup as well. So I think they're going to get a heavy dose of downhill runs. So I'm going with the Chiefs also. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Las Vegas Raiders? Will it be the Kansas City Chiefs? Then that, we'll see you guys next time.